It is Wednesday, February 28th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi, and I'm here to give you my 3 favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. And folks, I gotta tell you, before we get into today's picks, I am on the heater of a lifetime. It's just insane, the hot streak that we are currently on. So far, we've had 4 straight profitable days in a row. Since the All-Star break, 5 of 6 days that we've had have been profitable. And that hot streak continued yesterday. So on this YouTube channel, I gave out 4 picks for you guys. We got 3 of those 4 to cash. I also got one of my ladder plays to cash as well. Then as the day went on, there was one more play that I liked that I added both on Twitter and I added to my dub club as well. It was Victor Wembanyama over 1.5 made 3-pointers. That cashed as well. Unfortunately, his ladder play did not cash, but his mainline play did. So on mainline plays, we were up. We went 4-1 yesterday, up about over 3 units overall. And then on ladder plays, we went 1 of 3. So 1, 1, 2 lost with a very, very slight profit of 0.08 units. But still an incredibly profitable day of over 3 units of profit. And again, that's 4 straight days in which we have been in the green. Eventually, the cold spell is going to come. I went on a similar heater in January, and then we had a pretty rough stretch. I think 3 or 4 days we were down. So I know that the cold streak is going to come, and I urge everybody to also be aware of that because this run we are on is insane. But let's hope that that cold streak doesn't start tonight. Let's hope we can continue this run on the entire season. We are up on our mainline plays, 56.73 units. And on our ladder plays that I just started tracking on Saturday, February 24th, we are up 2.08 units. Again, just an amazing season that we're having. Hopefully we can continue this run tonight. Again, I have 3 more picks for you guys. Real quick, I would appreciate it if you're not already, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching me, please understand that we're not always going to be profitable every single day like we have over the past week. So please understand that there is going to be some variance and a cold spell will come eventually. But again, let's hope we can keep that at bay for one more day. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then for this specific video, if you could like, if you could comment, all that stuff does help me out a ton. I do appreciate everybody in the comments. Even on days where we do have a bad day, everybody's very nice in the comments, which I appreciate. But enough of that. You're only as good as your most recent bangers. It's time to get into today's Splash Zone. It's time to get wet. First play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here. This is in the Lakers versus Clippers game, and we're taking Kawhi Leonard over 26.5 points. This is best offered at plus 102 odds at BetRivers, or you can get it at plus 100 at ESPN Bet. So this play, this Kawhi Leonard one, it's going to be the ultimate flip-flop method type of play. Admittedly, Kawhi has not been scoring a ton recently, but I do like this play tonight against the Lakers, and this actually is a play that I'm going to ladder. So I'm going to take Kawhi to score 30-plus points as well. This is at plus 190 odds at Bet365. So looking at Kawhi, it's kind of been an interesting season, right? He had a stretch back in December where he was on fire. He cashed this in like 8 straight games, something crazy like that. And then he had another stretch at the end of January / beginning of February where he was playing really well as well. But since then, he hasn't been scoring that much. He's missed this number, this over 26.5. He's missed it in 6 straight games. And he actually hasn't even gotten to 25 points in any of those 6 games as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stamp, label this one as our Pepto play of the day because it's going to make your stomach feel a little bit queasy, but I do really like this one. For starters, Paul George is out for the Clippers, and that's a big deal. Kawhi in the year 2023, so this specific season, he's played 4 games without Paul George, and he's cashed this over in 3 of those 4 games. The 3 games he went over, he scored 27, 30, and 31 points. Now, the one game that he went under did also happen to be the Clippers' most recent game in which he did go under, but still, we'll take the win percentage of hitting it in 3 of 4. Unsurprisingly, when Paul George is off the floor, Kawhi Leonard has the highest usage rate on the team. And I also really do like this matchup against the Lakers as well in terms of how they play defense, and specifically how their defense has been playing recently. So on the entire year, the Lakers are giving up the 2nd most points per game to someone of Kawhi's shooting profile. That's per courtside pal. Granted, if you look at scoring and playmaking profile, it's a little more middle of the pack, but you got to look at how the Lakers defense has been playing recently, which is not good. Their defense has really fallen off a cliff, and it's over a pretty decent sample size, right? Like over the past 6 weeks, the Lakers have the 6th worst defense in the entire NBA, according to net rating. And if you dig a little bit deeper, there are a couple advanced stats that should point in favor of Kawhi Leonard as well. For starters, on the Clippers, Kawhi averages the most points on the Clippers via the pull-up. The Lakers, meanwhile, on the entire season, are giving up the second most made field goals in the NBA via the pull-up as well. And without Paul George, who takes the third most pull-ups for the Clippers, that should only be even more for Kawhi Leonard. Also, if you look at just the percentile of how good they are at this thing, Kawhi Leonard is literally listed as the best isolation scorer in the entire NBA, like the 90th, above 90th percentile. That's according to NBA.com. And the Lakers are giving up the sixth most points per game via isolation in the NBA. So Kawhi's cold streak, I'm confident it's going to come to an end today. Let's hope he can get us to 27 points to cash our main play and 30 points to cash our ladder play. Second pick of the evening, Pelicans versus Pacers game. I'm going with Tyrese Halliburton over 11.5 assists, plus 106 odds at FanDuel. I know we just went with Halliburton on Monday and he burned us, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to him once again today. I'm not scared off of him having a bad game on Monday. For starters, that was just a weird game. Sometimes that happens in an 82-game season. Yeah, there are going to be some weird ones. He had 4 assists in the first quarter. He had 7 assists by the early third quarter, like 2 minutes into the third quarter. He had 7 assists. I thought we were going to get ourselves a nice cash on Monday, but he did not go. He went the rest of the game without getting an assist. Literally ended the game with 7 after having 7 early in the third quarter. That game was a clear outlier. He only had 11 potential assists in that game as well. That's absurdly low for Tyrese Halliburton. That's like almost half of what his season averages, as he averages about over 19, not quite half, but he averages over 19 potential assists per game on the entire season. It was also the second half of a back-to-back. I'm willing to chalk that up. It's just a weird game. Again, sometimes that happens. We get to fade recent results, which I do like, obviously, and he has a great matchup to rack up assists against the Pelicans. The Pelicans generally do a good job at guarding guards, but that's mostly from a scoring perspective. From a playmaking perspective, they can be had and allow guards to rack up a decent amount of assists. On the entire season, according to Courtside Pal, the Pelicans are giving up the second most assists per game to someone of Tyrese Halliburton's playmaking style. If you look at the past 2 weeks, basically since the All-Star break came back or post-All-Star break, they're allowing the second most assists per game to point guards in the entire NBA. 4 of the last 6 point guards have gone over their assist over-under against the Pelicans. That includes Tyus Jones, who had a ridiculous he had a ridiculous 15 assists on an over-under of 6.5. I'm not going to ladder Halliburton this time tonight. I'm just going to take him to go over the 11.5, which probably means he's going to hit a ladder play, but that's fine as long as he cashes our mainline play of over 11.5. Next up, our third and final pick of the video, Cavs versus Bulls game, taking Darius Garland over 6.5 assists, plus 125 odds at ESPN Bet. Unlike the previous 2 plays, unlike the Kawhi and the Tyrese Halliburton one, this is absolutely not even close to a fade of recent results. This is actually literally the opposite. And I don't really understand what the books are doing here. Like, we've gone with Garland a decent amount recently, but for good reason, right? He's just been printing money for us, cashing his over assist a ton of times. And for whatever reason, the books aren't adjusting, right? His over under is at 6.5. And not only that, but the over is priced at plus 125. I'm legitimately worried. I thought I was missing something with these odds. I thought I was missing something with this price. I woke up and was expecting Darius Garland's assist to at least be over under 7.5 or have the over 6.5 be heavily juiced. But that's not the case. The only thing I can think of, maybe the one thing that I'm missing, is the fact that the Cavaliers, they are on the second half of a back-to-back. But even that doesn't scare me off, right? Like the last time that the Cavs played in a back-to-back, the front end of that, Garland played 37 minutes and he had 10 assists. That was the front end. Then the very next night, he played over 38 minutes and he had 9 assists. So now that Garland is removed from the injury and he's playing a normal amount of time, he shouldn't have a minutes restriction. There's no talk about him having a minutes restriction tonight. So I'm not scared off by the back-to-back. Overall, Garland has gone over 6.5 assists in 8 straight games. Legitimately 8 straight games. So yeah, as I mentioned, he's just been printing money for the assists and the books aren't catching up. This is also another situation where we are getting a good matchup. So it's not like, oh, maybe they're pricing it that way because it's a tough matchup. No, it's not. It's against the Bulls, who are a team you want to target for point guard assists. And it's because of the style in which they play defense. They don't have a ton of plus defenders, which means they allow a lot of interior penetration, and they're very aggressive with helps, whether that's helping guys off the wing, leaving open shooters from the corner, or it's helping off of guys under the basket, leaving an easy dump off. They allow a lot of point guards to rack up assists. With that thought in mind, according to Courtside Pal, the Bulls are giving up the 5th most assists per game to someone of Garland's playmaking style. Over the past month, they are allowing the 4th most assists to point guards in the NBA. And these two teams just played right before the All-Star break. Garland had 7 assists on 12 potential assists, and he played about 30 minutes. So if he plays 32, 34, even 37, which he's played since the All-Star break, he should be able to catch this one for us. Again, maybe I'm missing something and he's going to go under and I'm going to feel dumb for talking it up. But just based on the recent data, this is an absolute smash play. I love this one. Rounding out our 3rd and final pick of the video. That's how we got 3 picks for you guys to lock in. Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And the last thing I'll mention, which I say at the end of every video, and I did mention it at the beginning of the video as well, is I do have a dub club. Now, the one thing that I want to be clear about is, number one, it's only $5 a month. I'm not asking for a ton. And there's nothing that you can get on the Dub Club that you can't also get for free, either on YouTube or on Twitter. My logic being, I have the Dub Club where I send out plays immediately. So you can get them about an hour early of when they go out on Twitter or on YouTube. And if you don't want to mess with Twitter, if you don't want to have to watch the YouTube video every day, you can get them texted to you just right on your phone, texted/emailed to you. So if the odds change while you're watching this, you can get them texted to you. That's kind of the logic. People are saying like, hey, I like your picks, but I don't always have time to watch the YouTube video, or I don't always care about the YouTube video. So I came out with the Dub Club. Again, I'm only charging $5 a month because I understand you can get everything for free. So I'm not trying to sell you a VIP picks package, just giving you the option. If you want them texted to you, if you want them immediately, Dub Club is $5 a month. Or if you want them for free, you can watch the YouTube video, or when I post things on Twitter, you can get it there as well. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.